Rupert says altcoin season starts in just 13 days, guys. This could be your biggest opportunity of the entire cycle. The macro environment has shifted in a way that we've never seen like ever before. Because we're gonna win, and then we're gonna keep winning, and we're gonna get tired, and you're gonna be like, no, please, Kyle, we're winning too much. And then we're gonna win some more. In today's video, guys, we're gonna talk about what happens in just under 2 weeks that is a big catalyst into altcoin season. So I'm gonna break things down for you. I'm gonna show you where I either have allocated or reallocated capital or shifted capital, because as you guys know, I don't have any more cash to deploy. I wish I had dry powder in the big collapse. So if you have some money sitting on the sidelines, you could be in an amazing position right now to deploy that. And if you don't, if you're like me, crazy, everyone would advise you against having all of your assets in crypto. But if you're like me, then maybe you might want to look at repositioning some of your plays. This is not financial advice, so of course I wouldn't suggest doing that. And Rupert would ask for you guys to just like the video, subscribe to the channel. It buys me more treats. All right, guys, so let's get into it without further ado. What's the Bitcoin price now? Ooh, 96.8. I'm going to show you what potentially is happening on this macro play right here. Actually, I have a very good reason for that. You're going to want to watch and see if it plays out. It gives you some ranges that you might be looking forward to. On the ETF news, Bitcoin ETFs yesterday, 340 million coming in. The crazy thing is, though, there's almost just as much money coming in from the ETH ETFs. We haven't really seen that before, right? That's why we're going to talk about alt season coming in hot. All right, guys. Now, normally we look at the Bitcoin. What do you look at Bitcoin or Ethereum on their monthly returns? February has always been freaking fantastic, right? You look at, this is Bitcoin, I believe, and you can see, years following, like 2021 bull run, 36, almost 37%. The 2017 bull run, 23% for Bitcoin. And for Ethereum, 2021, we saw 8.41. 2017, 48%. And this year so far, after having negative 16%. So maybe, doesn't surprise me to say that maybe, well, we know that, right? The capital flows from mostly Bitcoin. That's why Bitcoin dominance is huge right now, like 65% or something. And then now over the next few weeks, capital will start flowing into alts. In fact, you see Eric Trump, I don't have it up today, but Eric Trump posted something saying basically buy more ETH. World Liberty Financial is buying a bunch of ETH. And I'm going to teach you guys something so crazy in today's video. The beautiful thing about people having crypto, like the president, like all of the state senators. So you guys understand right now that like all politicians pretty much right now, they're all front running everything like that, right? And the beautiful thing is like, if I buy Bitcoin, then I want you to buy Bitcoin so the price goes higher. And then you want someone else to buy Bitcoin so the price goes higher. It's the same thing with altcoins, right? I go buy some altcoin first, and then I go tell you about it, and then you go tell your friends about it because you have a bag and then they have a bag. And that's how it kind of virally spreads. It's got that intrinsic network effect. And you guys can see that Bitcoin bills, we just talked about this on every show basically, about the states putting in front bills for strategic Bitcoin reserves. And you can see the map here. Look, California, please, for the love of God, don't do me like that. Don't do me. I mean, I had to leave there for such a long time ago, but new bills have been proposed. Oregon, New Jersey, Mississippi, Indiana, and even if you just go and look at my X account, I mean, it's crazy all the news coming in. You've got FDIC set to revise crypto rules. Banks are pushing for custody services and tokenized deposits. Blockchain integrations coming. What did I tell you? This leads me to believe, we've known since 2017, banks were integrating crypto rails. People like XRP and Chainlink have been building for this moment for a very long time. This is the golden age of when these guys actually finally start getting to turn on the rails. MicroStrategy changed its name to Strategy B, like Strategy Bitcoin, crazy. New Mexico also files for strategic Bitcoin reserve. The stablecoin, we'll talk about Stablecoin Act coming up soon, why it's so important. But between Circle and Tether, there was $8.5 billion in newly minted stablecoins. So with the price, regarding the price, right? So there's a theory here, let's see if it plays out. I'll tell you a little bit about it, that maybe there's a double bottom, right? Record liquidations, like we just saw, always mark the bottom, as the market design is to transfer wealth from the over-leveraged to the patient buyers, and don't give the former a chance to buy lower again. And she gives you some examples. On that other side, Axel over here says that the markets were overheated, that flush that we got was necessary, and things look healthy for the next leg up. But then crypto ISO over here looks for what potentially we could see this double bottom, right? And we zoom in over here. Basically, these yellow lines, this is a liquidation heat map. And so very safe in this region, but maybe the exchanges and stuff want to take one more rip down to sub 90,000, 86 or whatever, just to get one more shakeout, make a bunch more money. Who knows? Whatever. The point is, guys, I wouldn't be playing with a lot of leverage right now. People lost their everything a couple days ago. So Eleanor Terrett from Fox, she says, new takeaways from the digital asset presser. This press release from the digital asset one that David Sachs was part of. So the House Financial Services, House AG, Senate AG, and Senate banking committees are forming a bicameral committee to lead on crypto regulation, where they will prioritize stablecoin and market structure legislation. So it seems like very clear that stablecoins is going to be the priority, right? Then they're going to figure out like how to get all of our altcoins and stuff like that properly launched without getting, But in the meantime, I think we have like some breathing room, and I'll show you why in just a minute. Banking GOP chairman, Senator Tim Scott, says he plans to be as aggressive as possible to have the bills passed the first 100 days. This is banking laws, stablecoin laws, and then David Sachs, the crypto and AI czar, says some of the first things they're going to look at is feasibility of the Bitcoin reserve. And also Sachs and Trump talked about the golden age of crypto is upon us.
One of the things that the president instructed us to do was to evaluate the idea for a Bitcoin reserve, and so that is one of the things. That's one of the first things we're going to look at as part of the internal working group in the administration. So as soon as we get all that set up, we're still waiting for some cabinet secretaries who are on the working group to get confirmed. So we're still in the very early stages of this. But that's one of the first things we're gonna look at is the feasibility of a Bitcoin reserve. I think the concept of the sovereign wealth fund is a little separate, and you'd have to talk to Secretary Lutnick, or soon to be.
Oh, and will we talk about Lutnick here and the sovereign wealth fund in just a second? And about this digital asset stockpile or Bitcoin strategic reserve, it's happening. Like, it's happening for sure. Trump has done everything. I mean, most of the things he's been talking about on the campaign trail, he was dead serious. Like, he is getting them done, and he's getting them quickly. And to be fair, all Trump said was that he was not going to sell the Bitcoin the United States already had. Now, I have a little bit of a theory on how things are going to evolve right now, and we'll talk about that. So, breaking news, President Trump signs an executive order. I love how Trump runs government. He's just like, I don't need to go through all the other branches of government. I'm just going to sign orders and we're going to do it my way. Smart. Breaking, President Trump signs an executive order to create a United States sovereign wealth fund. Oh my goodness. For some context, Saudi Arabia sovereign wealth fund has about $925 billion in AUM. Norway's fund has 1.8 trillion AUM, 1.8 trillion assets under management. Insane. And I saw a little clip of Trump saying, well, we're going to be big. We're going to be big. We'll not as, Saudi's really big, but we'll get there. We'll catch him. So yeah, that's what it's up. So Kuhn over here says the new U.S. sovereign wealth fund is an additive game changer. Not only do you still have the SBR track, which people were concerned about as far as likelihood and timeline, you now have a second driver, which is easier to make happen. Basent plans to monetize the assets on the federal balance sheet, and the other guy in charge, Lutnick, is one of the biggest Bitcoin bulls out there. Crypto aside, with any business deals, the benefit from the government support can now ask for equity in exchange for assistance. For example, TikTok. So the government can ask for assistance in your company if it supports you. I was having a discussion with some of my friends in LA before the election. I was saying the only way that the US will change in the long run is the taxing people is not going to work, because wealthy people who make a lot of money are just going to leave the country, set up creative tax structures, whatever. It's not going to work. And it's just going to push people away. What you should do is you should run the United States as the business. The United States creates some of the biggest industries in the world. Now, with all the money the United States is spending on all this bullshit, why don't you just create a venture studio and a big fund and invest in all the best companies in the world and create the best companies in the world? Literally, that's what I said. And now he's in the sovereign wealth fund. So David Sachs, and this is what I was getting at before, right? So the Bitcoin reserve, that's going to take more time to set up. It's going to have to go through Congress, and people are going to, Democrats are going to go back and forth and blah, 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 right? But they're going to set up a sovereign wealth fund, and that can deploy to Bitcoin right away, right? And if you want to make the strategic reserve, it just sits there. Like the gold that sits in all the strategic reserves around the world. It just sits there and does nothing. So you don't really care if that 200,000 Bitcoin sitting in the strategic reserve goes up in value or not so much. You want the value of the Bitcoin in your fund to go up, because your fund is supposed to be making money. So how about this idea? What if the fund starts operating, it buys a bunch of Bitcoin, and then they announce the strategic Bitcoin reserve, which then sends ripples through all the other countries, and bam, now the sovereign wealth fund owns a ton of it. They bought it, let's say like 150,000, whatever. And now 4 months later, it's announced that yes, the United States is implementing strategic Bitcoin reserve, and they're gonna be buying a bunch. And now the rest of the world goes and apes in and pumps the price, to $1 million, which, they bought for 150K or something. Now, who is Howard Lutnick? Remember, we've talked about him before. This is the guy that he owns. Well, you'll see. We'll get into it.
I would say I have hundreds of millions of dollars.
Okay.
Hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars exposure to Bitcoin. And it will be billions.
I was going to say, so next year when you come back and we'll do this again and you'll be a Bitcoin billionaire and
yeah, but you remember that model I told you? So if every time Bitcoin dips, I'm going to be the buyer. Right?
Trust me, I know why you're doing the lending.
It's all coming. We'll figure it out.
Listen, you don't have to explain that one around here.
So I got the 50% Bitcoin, I got the Bitcoin lending, but basically what you're going to see is Cantor Fitzgerald is going to be the sponsor of Bitcoin into traditional finance. Mm-hmm. And so we will be the leader of it. And I'll pull out this podcast in years to come and say, see, I told you, because no one's going to remember.
Of course.
Right? But all the banks, after we do it and show people how to do it right, they'll all copy. Mm-hmm. And so the asset of Bitcoin will just, as it becomes more accepted, it will become more valuable.
So crazy.
And the whole Bitcoin nation should just call it a commodity, never a currency. Mm-hmm. Just call it a commodity. Because if it's a currency, you're attacking the politicians of the country, mm-hmm. right? You're trying to replace my currency with yours. Mm-hmm. But if you say, hey, I'm just oil, I'm just gold, mm-hmm. I'm just a commodity, leave me be, right? Then they'll leave you be. And that is true. And it will be why Bitcoin, which is rare and is special, will become ever more rare, as we both know, mm-hmm. ever more valuable over time. It'll be financed just like gold is, right? Yep. Gold is, it's not like super financeable, but it's financeable. Oil, mm-hmm. It's not super financeable, mm-hmm. but it's financeable, right? Bitcoin will be financeable. Bitcoin will be way, way, way higher, sometimes lower. You just have to have faith.
Insane. This is the guy that's going to be running the United States Sovereign Wealth Fund, Howard Lutnick, who is the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald. We've talked about him before. He was in Davos and talking, and now this guy is just so happy. You can see he has hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin. He plans on that turning to billions of dollars of Bitcoin pretty soon. And he is going to be allocating, the master allocator of the United States Sovereign Wealth Fund. You don't think he's going to have personal interest to pump his bags to Valhalla? Of course. This guy already has hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin. Who knows what other assets he has? We got to find out, right? Because he's going to add them to the strategic or to the sovereign wealth fund as well. He also has a 5% stake in Tether. And Tether is the most profitable company in the world per employee. It's just mind blowing. And now, it just like, Tether and USDC are just becoming, the stable coins are the most important because they will establish, and help the US dollar stay relevant and important, right? Before, it was not so easy for people around the world to buy US dollars. I mean, they maybe had to pay premiums, whatever, but now you can just get online and go buy a stable coin and bam, you've got dollars. You can get rid of your other currency and get dollars super easy. That's why the US government definitely wants stable coins to exist. So we don't have any more Tether FUD. Those days are over, right? They're gonna have to be audited, obviously, and all this kind of stuff. And they're doing the like I use Aave, right, to finance and collateralize my Bitcoin. They're going to be doing that with $2 billion to start, $2 billion Bitcoin financing lending business. So people are going to be taken out. This is going to be a super leveraged market. People are going to be doing what I'm doing. They're going to put their Bitcoin in Cantor Fitzgerald. Then they're going to borrow stable coin. They're going to buy more Bitcoin, and it's going to go up and up and up. Like, I don't even know if you need to risk on these. Like, we do these little meme coins for fun and gambling and the thrill of 50 and 100x, but like Bitcoin's going to skyrocket. I keep telling you guys all the time. So this is just talking about, I don't need to go into this. This is the stablecoin bill. I already told you why it's so important. They're going to put that first and foremost. And Eric Balkunas says the SEC is scaling back its crypto enforcement unit. Some in a special unit of 50 lawyers and staff that have been dedicated to bringing enforcement actions are being reassigned. Stop punking crypto until we have clear rules and regulations. Go do something else useful. They didn't fire them, right? But they said, stop the enforcement, right? Which is huge. Fantastic, actually. I had to go share this SEC scaling back with the team because, I always wanted to include everybody in what we're doing at Paid Network and Commonwealth, and everyone's so worried about the SEC and blah, 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 blah. Well, bye-bye, all 50 SEC enforcers. Go away. Let's wait till we've got clear rules. Until then, let the Americans play. Americans want to get involved. Come on. Time to changing, guys. Look for announcements soon. SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce announces the initial list of priorities for the SEC Crypto Task Force will tackle. Okay, so basically, here's the list. And so the SEC is now, because Hester Pierce is there, they're going to start doing things that the public has been asking for, or at least the crypto community, for a long time. Hey, what is this? SEC, and what's a security or is it a security or commodity? Like, how do you scope out something? How do you do a token offering? How do you register your token offering? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The stuff that we've been wondering forever, right? Like, a lot of developers want to start a crypto company or a crypto token, whatever. They live in the United States, but they have no idea. The SEC, Gary Gensler would just go register with the SEC. We don't have $250,000, asshole. So they need a portal that's easy so people can come in, register themselves, and like maybe it costs $500 or something like that, Here we go, guys. Altcoin season. Something we've been talking about for months and months and months. The FTX Recovery Trust anticipates commencement of distributions to creditors in the plan's convenience class. Claims under $50,000 starting on February 18th. And the bigger claims will be started February 18th, guys, just under 2 weeks from now. And FTX distros in 2 weeks will provide $800 million to $1.2 billion into the market, potentially over days and weeks, not at once. Any post that says 16 billion is false. We will get more, but just chill. Only the less than $50,000 claims with finalized KYC will receive distribution. 669 million times interest gives you, whatever that is, right? And then after that, they're going to start doing the bigger distributions, right? So I think it's around March or something like that, which is the rest of the 10 to $15 billion or something. Okay, Trader XO is someone I've known for a very long time. Very, very smart guy. And, he's just kind of echoing what people are saying. Like, is it over for altcoin season? And then, it's what we've been talking about. No, it's just things are rotating much quicker, right? So we're going from one narrative to the next narrative, the next narrative. And so that's why you should watch this channel on a daily basis, subscribe, because we're always keeping you in the loop on narrative. Like we're always early, right? And there's a post. So if it isn't already obvious, hot money, short-term traders drove AI market cap to its recent highs. Now we've seen it flush out profit taking and panic mode capitulation. Now long-term supporters who've been studying can enter with conviction. I personally believe strong AI protocols will get the fundamentals bid similar to how DeFi protocols did in 21. My longer-term bet is over time. Top AI protocols will dwarf most other sectors because their total addressable market is much larger than just DeFi. Now, the funny thing is, guys, is that what he says is that, he kind of waits to see what gets attention, waits for it to pump like crazy, and then have that 75% correction that they all inevitably end up having. And then boom, it's a great time to buy at a pretty big discount where it's likely going to be a good place to be. If you guys don't understand the kind of how these AMM dexes work, like Radium or Uniswap, when you've had a new token, there's not a ton of liquidity in there. So it doesn't take a whole lot of money to drive the price up a lot or to crash the price down a lot. So it can be very volatile. It's not until the tokens start getting lots of market makers, lots of liquidity, high market caps, before it takes a lot of money to move the price. In the early days, it's very, very, very volatile, very volatile. Now, this is a really cool site I just discovered. It's called goatindex.ai. And what we're going to point out here is what we want to look at, when you have a big correction, where is the money flowing? So what we did is we go over to Goat AI Index, and it's kind of like cookie.fun. And we filtered by 24 hours, all tokens, and then we sort by 24-hour volume. And you can see that the most volume came into Fartcoin, then ARC, which we've been talking about, Griffin and AI16Z, and SNAI, which we just told you about recently, like Mobi AI. These are all the best coins that we've been talking about here on this channel, guys. So I'm pretty happy that we've been making those bets. Those are the bigger bets that I have. And if you look here, this is also interesting too. So volume to market cap ratio, which basically means obviously the big tokens that are on Binance and stuff, their volume is going to be huge. But it's abnormal and very interesting to take note when there's a small market cap token and it's doing a lot of volume. Those seem to say there's a lot of interest. And so this DeFi, this AI agent play, it still has the best ratio there. Now, this is from Nansen, and Elon Money says, these AI tokens receive the highest net flow from smart money over the past 6 hours. Now, smart money is different than just inflows, but ARC number one, net inflows $1 million by Fartcoin, and Griffin 220 GRPH. I don't know what that is, 26,000. But guys, like it still isn't a lot. Like this could be one person. Smart money could put $1 million in, and bam, there you go. So you should watch that on a day-to-day basis if you have it. But anyway, so ARC is, we talked about this quite early, but it's had this nice, now it's pulled back about 60%. It was down almost 75%. And it's probably, I think this thing's going to, correct real nice and, bounce real nice. Not financial advice, but, they're doing some pretty big things. Binance has been mentioning Griffin in their research reports, and they're also talking about DeFi like crazy, right? And they haven't really listed these DeFi tokens yet. So me personally speculating, I'm guessing that our favorite AI tokens we've been talking about, Griffin, AI16Z, the ARC, these other ones, probably going to get a Binance listing soon. The volume is pretty tremendous. Griffin, I give you, here's the thing too, about this post that the guy said, right? Like he likes to wait until it goes up a lot and then have a 75% correction. Well, look at this. This thing did crash. Remember, I brought you Griffin at $8 million. And even after this 75% crash or whatever, it's at $180 million. So still over 15x from where I first called it for you guys. I think I called it in the VVIP group first. If you guys aren't in the VVIP group, you can sign up to any of the exchange affiliate links that I have in the description below. Create an account, deposit $100, and then follow the instructions in the description below, and we will add you to the VVIP account where you get all the alpha called all the time. So I'm speculating here. There's a category here on CoinGecko called Top Binance Alpha Spotlight Coins by Market Cap. Now, some of them are listed on Binance and some of them aren't, but it's good to look at it because there's this list. And when you see volume, like look at AI16Z, $133 million of volume, Fartcoin, 238 million, AIXPT, 100 million, 87 million for Griffin. Crazy, just crazy. You can take a look at these. Unicorn Fart Dust, 12 million, so not so much, but like pretty good. So likely, guys, these big ones, like I'm betting AI16Z, AIXPT, Griffin, etc. are likely. I'm not saying I don't know when, but my guess is they will be listed on Binance fairly soon. Another one that we talked about, guys, is this Grift by Orbit. They're doing some really cool stuff. It's a Griffin competitor sitting at a $39 million market cap, fully diluted. It's at a big correction. And they claim they're doing way more than Griffin, right? Griffin kind of has the backing of like Anatolian Solana, but Orbit says, which is the Grift token. Orbit is the only abstraction layer today that incorporates 200 different protocols across 100 different chains. 1 year in the making, and we're just getting started. Some exciting announcements about new chains and protocols to come. Essentially, it's AI agents that can do different actions for you. It's all really cool. This Griffin, this Orbit, I'm big fans of it. I hold a bag. It's got a nice correction right now. Okay, guys, so that's going to wrap it up. It was really, really exciting show. I hope that you learned a lot, got a lot of value from it. If you did, make sure you touch the like button, share with a friend. It would really help me out, guys. Leave a comment. Let me know what you'd like to see more of, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.